Let's do some tech on ice. I forgot to heat my cold plunge, so this is the temperature where it's kind of cold. And it's also pouring down rain, so bear with me. Today we're going to do first part in a series where I'm going to talk about how to get started in tech or how to get into tech. So it's going to be a multiple part series. I haven't decided how many parts yet, but the first part's going to be around picking what you like or trying to figure out like what area of tech you want to focus on. Because I think one of the things that's challenging right now in tech, especially for people who are getting into it, is that you might like computers, you might like gaming, you might like stuff, right? But there's so many avenues of tech, and it can be really like uh, what's the right word? It can be very challenging or overwhelming to like actually go through the process of figuring out like what tech area of tech you want to focus on. Especially like if you're younger and you don't have a lot of visibility to like all the different aspects of tech. So I wanted to kind of think about that. So let's just start, right? So my number one piece of advice to anybody who is younger and looking to get into tech is figure out like what you like about computers and why you want to get into tech. If it's about the money, because you know that tech has great opportunities to increase your standard of living, that's viable. However, what you'll find out is that no amount of money is worth it if you don't enjoy what you're doing. I found this out personally myself. So how can we combat that? So, you know, there's like key areas of tech that are like at a high level that I think is really important to think about. Um, like you can get into mobile or app development. So like maybe you love like playing around with new apps and you like thinking about like, oh, it would be cool if there's an app that did this or an app that that. Like it might be smart for you to look into like mobile app development, whether you're building for iOS devices or you're building for Android devices or whatever, right? It's really important to think about that. Like, if you like playing around with as a consumer, you might like playing around with it as a developer. Another key area of tech is like what building apps for the web, right? So maybe you like looking at websites. Maybe you like the design of websites. Maybe you like the way that websites make you feel when they get you to where you go. Like that could very much be a web developer, like building things for the web with like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I think people in the tech space would call that like a front end engineer, front end developer, but you're focusing on like what the customer sees. You also could be one of those people that just likes to solve problems, and I know that's really a really like bland or kind of anonymous generic way to say it, but like maybe you're always trying to find ways to like automate things you're doing. Like maybe you use like if this then that sort of experiences, or you're like, man, like I wish that I had the ability to like you know you make this service available or make this do this thing. You might like that's like typically I think people would categorize that as like back end developing, right? You're building some back end tools, whether they're APIs or their services or whatever, but like applications that don't have an interface, like a UI, but are like integral to like how large tech companies run because you're moving information around, you're processing inputs and creating outputs and what have you, right? So that's an area too. Um, I do think one thing also that's interesting as a part of that is like you might want to think about like what platforms you might want to build on. Like maybe you want to build like Chrome extensions or browser extensions. Um, Maybe you want to build things on Raspberry Pis. Like that might be important too, right? Like the platform that you're building on might be, and that kind of goes into like the mobile space. Maybe you like building apps that run on Windows for whatever reason. Like maybe you want to build like client apps is what they're called. Maybe you like that idea. So there are all these different areas of tech, right? And I've even gone into like languages or frameworks or anything. One thing that I'll caution almost immediately is a lot of people that I've spoken to, like they want to figure out like how do I get like a machine learning, AI, prompt engineering job? How do I do that? And I will say this, and this might be a spicy take, so I apologize if anybody gets whatever from it. Those jobs, more than likely, the companies that are looking to hire those jobs, they're not looking for people that are getting started in tech. Like if you look at a job description for anybody, like any AI or ML job, it requires like a pretty sophisticated background, whether it's college with math and physics or computer science. Um, it also like you need like years of experience like in this space, like with machine learning models and all of that. And because a lot of these companies are trying to make money off of ML and AI right now, and unfortunately, like figuring out how to train developers and building that is not probably not as important as, hey, we need somebody in house that can build these things like right now and get us to market as fast. Not to say that you can't get an entry level job in that space, but it'll be harder than like in the more typical spaces like building for web or building for mobile or building for desktop or what have you, right? So I think my recommendation and the takeaway that I have from this is that like figure out what you want. Maybe you want to build games. Build games. Like maybe you love gaming, maybe you want to be a part of the building game community. So my recommendation is like find the thing that interests you and learn about what it would take to be a developer of that thing. So go from a consumer to a builder or a consumer to a developer. So that's a piece of advice. So that's um, that's kind of where I'm at, like at a top level. Like figure out what you want to do before you go down the path of trying to learn it. Because as somebody who is trying to learn new things, sometimes your brain just won't want to learn new things if your heart doesn't want to. So hopefully this is helpful. Look out for part 2 of my video coming out shortly. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know down the comments like when you've realized like what area of tech you liked. Also, if you have any advice in this space, like advice on like picking out the technologies that you're interested in, feel free to comment down below. And then obviously like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.